I see Dorothy. My eyes cannot believe it. Like, there you go, tough cookie. I don't play about my brother. Listen, when I tell you, it took all the strength for me not to just turn up in this lady's class. I was going to turn up in this lady class. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to play it cool. This is the mode that I was like, I'm going to have to play this smart because today is teacher parent conference day. Nobody want to get in trouble on teacher parent conference. Like, I'm coming in to check on your grade. Your parents is, you know for sure your parents is coming. I know my mom is coming. Without a doubt, she's coming. So I'm sitting there like, I'm looking at her and I'm like, so boom, the rest of the kids come in, the bell rings, she let the rest come in. Boom. She sits down. She like, all right, guys, we're going to do an assignment, but we're going to go in 4 groups. So you guys can huddle up. I'm going to give you guys 3 minutes to figure out what groups you want to be in. So I was kind of cool with some of the people that was in the, like behind me that was in that little line. Because I was in a desk where I was in the middle of the line. So it was like maybe 4 or 5 rows, different lines of students. So I wanted to stay in my lane. So I'm like, hey, can I be in your group? So they was like, oh, he gonna be the captain. So I looked, I'm like, all right. So I went over there like, hey, can I be in your group? He like, yeah. He like, you can be in our group, straight like that. Boom, I'm in a group with them. Right, this boy was smarter than a whip. We all in the middle of the subject, right? It's pretty much common sense, right? She give us this assignment, this one piece of paper. We're all doing it as a collective whole, within the group. So she's giving us this assignment. We read this book and we kind of like chitter chatter and talk and figure out the answer and get it together. It's only 10 questions on this piece of paper. But whatever grade, if we get if that paper is an F, it's not because one person, no. And for the name we was putting, if we was group 1, group 2, group 3, group 4, right? So boom, everything is like kind of going good. And dude was just smart. He was like, oh wait, nah, because this and that, and even the tricky questions, he had it. Me, I felt like for me, my mom used to always call me dumb. So I used to feel like I was scared to kind of speak, even if I knew the answer. So I used to always wait for them to say like, hey, you think you know the answer to this? And I'd be like, yeah. And come to find out, I'm kind of smart. I'm not as dumb as my mom say I am. So boom, we're in the middle of the subject, I happened just to look over to keep my eye on Dorothy. And Dorothy was looking. I'm like, so I kind of like, like how you do this? Like you scratch your. But I was straight up like. So she was like, all right, we'll see. So the teacher was like, Dorothy, see what? I'm sorry, nothing. So I'm just like, all right, I already know like what it's finna be about when this bell ring and it's time to go outside this door. So boom. The teacher, she like, all right, guys, I'm giving y'all 4 minutes. Let's get ready to wrap it up for me, please. So boom, we get ready to wrap it up. We only had one more question. We was kind of like, we was stuck at number 10. Number 10 was tricky. So our captain, he went to one of his friends and he was like, hey, what was number 10? And so they was talking about, he like, wait, I didn't have those. So he didn't have those type of questions. So to come to find out, everybody in the class had a different paper. It wasn't the same paper. So I guess it was no way to cheat, right? All right, boom. She like, all right, guys, you guys got 10 minutes before the bell rings. So I'm going to give you guys free time. All I'm saying is do not be loud. So boom. First thing I do is like free time. So I'm like, what is free time? That was my first time hearing free time. So they was like, yeah, you could be on your phone. You can open up a bag of chips if you got chips. You can this, you can that, or whatever. So I'm like, all right, bet it up. First thing I do is pull out my phone. I check. I see Piper in a text me. She like, happy birthday to me, right? So I was like, I didn't even know it was your birthday. So, but I knew like it was a strike in me. First off, I ain't even talk to you, Piper. So I text her back. I'm like, what you mean? She was like, you missed my birthday yesterday. I'm like, I didn't know it was your birthday. So I'm really in the midst. I'm like tunnel vision, right? I'm in my phone and I'm texting. So boom, I text Mark. So as I'm texting, I see somebody come over and just boom hits my desk, and I wasn't holding my phone tight, and I had my arm kind of like resting on the desk. So when the person hit the desk, like boom, like just kind of tapped it, the phone fell and it boom, it hit the floor. No, it didn't break. No, nothing happened wrong. But it was the fact of like I looked like who did that? It's Dorothy. So I was like, yo, you made me drop my phone. She was like, my fault. She was like, I got to ask a question. So then that's when the teacher was like, make sure that you stay at your desk. Stay at your desk. Like the teacher is telling us to stay at our desk. Have your time at your desk. So I was like, yeah, Dorothy, have your time. She like, you better be quiet before I drag you up in this room. So the teacher's like, Dorothy, stop. So in my mind, I'm like, go ahead. Come on, because I'm finna put the works on you. I'm finna put the 2000 pump brakes on you. I'm finna slow you up. Joe, I was already on that. But see, I had to beat her at her own game and be way more smarter than her. So boom, I'm sitting there. I'm like, okay, the bell rang. Right? So we got the line. Because, the teacher, that's the way she wanted. So I let everybody go, right? I'm the last to go. But as I'm looking at the door, Dorothy is sure enough waiting on me outside the door. So I go to the teacher like, can I say something? Right? Innocent voice and everything. I was setting up my plan. I'm like, I try to like Dorothy. You see that I even asked about her when she wasn't here. She was like, yeah, I understand that. I'm like, but she always mean to me and wanna jump on me and fight me because I'm different, or I don't know what it is, right? So she's like, well, I'm glad you told me. She like, and I do see that she gets into it with a lot of the students, even different classmates. She was like, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna write everything down. And if she keep acting like this, after this teacher-parent conference, I would take matters in my own hands. I say, yeah, because I don't feel comfortable coming to your class. Swish! I don't feel comfortable. She said, okay, we'll most definitely talk about it. Even if I got to talk to the principal about it, we'll talk about it because she need to see some help or something like that, right? Boom. I'm coming out, right? So I stop at the door and I was like, I think she's waiting for me. So she said, come on, I'll walk you, right? She can walk me, but guess what? I'm walking into lunch. So I'm like, man, you know what? I ain't going to eat. I'm just on dummy, right? So she walked me to lunch. As soon as I got inside the lunchroom, I see Marky. They back at with those double tables, right? So I guess that the other classmates, the other students or whatever was like, okay, we can have that table because we still got the connected double table, right? So boom. Roosevelt like, yo, blah, 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 blah. He's talking. So Marky like, hey, you saw that girl? Marky still on it. Hey, you saw that girl? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, but wait, she's in here. He like, oh, I'm finna. So I'm like, no. No. I said, I got it. He say, man, you better be. I'm like, hold on, I'm gonna be there at our own game. I'm like, just follow my lead. So everybody that was at both of the tables finally got their lunch. So they like, you ain't get your lunch. So Mark was like, so what we waiting on? Like, let's go jump. I'm like, wait. So the girls at the table like, wait, what's happening? So we kind of get them a little bit of rundown. So Roosevelt like, yeah, I remember her or whatever. Like, that's the one that was trying to fight y'all when I was trying to. I'm like, yeah. Yeah, he like, yeah, she was so angry talking about when she see y'all, she gonna beat both of y'all. You know what I'm saying? He like, I got y'all back so we can always run up on her. I'm like, nah. I'm like, listen. He like, man, she big. Augie like, that's what I was saying. She fat. All right, straight like that. And I'm like, look, ain't nothing wrong with being voluptuous, BBW, or nice and thick like a snicker. I like that. But her shape was a little funny with it. It had a little wobble, little with it. It had a little shamar with it, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, not the actual, but it was more like, her body was lopsided. It was lopsided, put it like that. One side was higher than the other. And it was like, is you just chewing and swallowing on one side, or you chewing it? You know what I'm saying? It make you question yourself. So I'm like, Marky, like, well, what we gonna do? Because she looking up over here. Now, we see her. Now, We all lined up. Marky kind of next to me, Roosevelt, all them. But all the other people that we cool with, they facing our way. We can see Dorothy a couple of, like, tables down, but she's, like, in the corner. So, like, in a corner like this where it's, like, just a wall crease you in. It kind of, like, crease you in, right? All right, so I'm like, man, so Marky, like, you not gonna eat, though? I'm like, nah. He like, you want something off my lunch? I'm like, nah. I'm like, hold on, I'll be right back. So he like, what you finna do, bro? Don't do it without me. I'm like, I'll be right. Wait a minute. Because my brain was still thinking as I was doing it. So first thing first is I go all the way around, like, and it's loud in the cafeteria. I go all the way around. I see the security guard by the exit. I go out the entryway. The security said, you can't go. I said, I want to talk to the other security guard. It's important. He was like, okay, for what? What's wrong? You can talk to me. I'm like, no, I feel more comfortable talking to him. He was like, all right. So boom, I go out that way and I go towards the exit way. So I was like, hey, psst. So the security guard like, why, you know you can get in trouble. You're supposed to be in your lunch period. I'm like, I came out this way to talk to you because somebody's trying to jump on me. He like, who? So I was like, all right, her name is Dorothy. I already talked to our teacher. You feel it? You see what I just did there? I'm setting up my plan. Don't forget, I'm my mama's child. So I'm like, I already told the teacher. I'm like, and plus, she keep picking with me and picking with other people. I'm like, and I think she's going to try to fight me. He was like, all right, I need you to point out the girl. So I was like, right there. So he looking, he like, all right, do it with your elbow. So I was like, all right, right there. I'm like, she right there in the corner, like at the last seat. So true enough, you see Dorothy at the last seat, but she's like leaning on the wall. She's in that little crease, right? So he was like, okay. He like, I keep my eye on it. When y'all lunch leave, he like, you just come over here by me. So I'm like, all right, in my mind, I'm not coming over here, but this is all a part of my plan. No, she come near me, I'm finna put the 2000 footwork on her. Period, Pooh. So boom, I go back to the table. So Marky like, what you was doing? I'm like, don't worry. So I'm like, I'll be right back. He like, bro, our lunch finna end. When we gonna jump her? He like, cause we need to do it right now while we in the cafeteria. Roosevelt like, yeah. So I get like, hey, if y'all want me to, I'll kick in the leg. I'm like, no. I'm like, me and Marky get it. I'm like, but I got this, Marky. You just make sure. So everybody like, no, you ain't gonna get jumped. You ain't gonna get, like, we all jumping in. Now, we talking about, we deep at our table. And these people don't even know me, and they rocking with me. Off the strength of Roosevelt, off the strength of Mark, because these is Roosevelt and Mark people. I only got Augie and the other guys, my friend. You feel what I'm talking about? So, boom. I'm like, I'll be back. So, I start going to tables that was by our way. I'm like, hey, you want your juice? Yeah, I want my juice. Hey, you done with your juice? It was a juice that was open. Yeah, I'm done with it. Let me get it. So I'm like, who got a juice that's not open? So everybody like, me. So I'm grabbing juices from a different table, right? So I'm like, hey, y'all. So they're like, what we gonna do? I'm like, Marky, remember I got in trouble for throwing all those chocolate milks off the bus? He like, yeah. I'm like, watch this. So I'm like, everybody got their juices, right? So they like, yeah. So I'm like, y'all keep y'all's. I'm like, I'm gonna take this one now. It was one that was open. I kept the one that was open with the, you know what I'm saying, straight up with the whole works. And everybody else, they had their orange juice. I told them, don't open it. Because the people that I took the orange juices from, it wasn't open. Only mine. So I took the orange juice that I had. Boom, I opened it. I said, I'm finna hike it. So Marky like, you finna throw it, bro? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, my aim is good. I'm like, I'm gonna wait until the bell ring and it's time for everybody to get up and I'm gonna throw it. So I'm like, but all y'all gotta grab y'all juice and leave out with y'all juice. So boom, it was the extra juice that was for me. So I wasn't gonna get caught. So I'm looking. So Marky like, you better hit her and nobody else. I'm like, I got it. So Roosevelt like, okay, you finna pitch. I'm like, I'm nervous, right? So boom, the bell. Everybody just rise up. Some people leave their plates already there. Some people are already walking, taking their plates. You got the other class coming in into the lunch or whatever. So Marky like, yo, you gotta get ready. So my orange juice, the orange juice I had was open. I just, boom, that bad boy. Because she was just standing up, but she was still in the crack of that wall. So I knew I had to aim that. If she would have been sitting anywhere else, I could have missed it. But it's like, how can you miss somebody like in a crease of a wall? Like, it ain't nothing else behind them but that wall. Like, is either you gonna hit the wall or you gonna hit them. So I'm like, man, you just see it. And it hit him. The whole, she's standing up. All you hear is, now we tables away from her. She like, who did that? She stood on top of the table. Who did that? So I'm laughing like, she spots me. She tries to run over, but by her already jumping on the table and getting loud, she running towards me. The security guard that I already told on is coming towards her way. She like, it was you. I'm like, what? So she started coming, running like, it was you. And so Marky like, don't touch my brother. So Roosevelt like, hey, yo, chill. So everybody like, no, you gonna have to go through this. You gonna have to go through this. She like, I'll fight all y'all, right? She ain't had like no little crew, no little claim. She like, I'll fight all y'all. The security guard come over there. He like, hey, go to your locker, leave, or I promise you, everybody gonna go to the principal office. So she like, I'm gonna see you in the hallway.